Hey, welcome to Sweet and Sour.
I'm Sweet.
I'm Sour. Someone had to be.
What do we have today, Zach?
Well, we have the Volkswagen Golf Sportwagen Alltrack. That's a mouthful.
Yeah, well, what it is, they've kind of Subarized the Sportwagen.
Yeah, what they do is they've done what Subaru had started doing years ago, which is take a regular station wagon, lift it up, then they put the cladding on it, and they give it sort of that crossover look. You know, nobody's happy to drive a station wagon, but they're happy to drive a car with cladding on it. I don't understand, but...
Well, Volkswagen is hoping that this steals some sales away from the Outback.
Yeah, but I think it's going to compete more with the Crosstrack. Like if you go into a Subaru dealer and then you go to the Volkswagen dealer, you go, oh, there's the Crosstrack, and for just a few grand more, I can get a bigger vehicle, more horsepower. This is it.
Well, I think this is a good tweener. It's an in-betweener between the Crosstrack and the Outback. You want something bigger than the Crosstrack, you go for this.
Yeah, you know what? This is a very well-equipped vehicle. In Canada, you get it full load. That's basically it. So we're here on Bainbridge Island, which is where?
Near Seattle.
Yeah, just took a ferry ride to get over here, about half an hour. So we're going to drive it and tell you what you think about it.
Let's go. I'm driving first.
Why? Because you're sweet.
'Cause I got the keys. All right, Sweet and Sour on the road again.
On the road again, we have our Sweet and Sour Secret Service in the back seat.
He's going to make sure we get all the facts right. There's Thomas Tetzlaff from Volkswagen Canada.
Yeah, he's the guy. Thanks for the invite, Thomas. He's not allowed to speak, he said. But if we get started wrong, we'll get a thump.
Yeah, I think he'll let us know. So this is the Alltrack 1.8 liter turbo engine, 170 horsepower, and that is and almost 200 foot-pounds of torque.
You know what? This is a great engine, and we'll talk about the elephant in the room right now. So the diesel situation no longer available, and the timing of the new engines from Volkswagen with the 1.8 liter and the 1.4 that's in the Jetta that run on regular gas, they're excellent engines. So what was happening is people were adopting these engines. They were buying the gasoline engines more than the diesels anyway. So this car's picking up where the old one left off. So the name is a bit long now, right? So you've got Golf,
Yep.
Sportwagen,
Yep.
and now you've got Alltrack.
And now in Canada, this is just a trim level of the Sportwagen.
Yeah.
And in the US, it's an actual entirely different model.
So what they've done in Canada is they said, okay, we know that Canadians want all-wheel drive because people are buying all these utilities. So they're going to make this special version, has the cladding on it, raised ride height, and a different sort of moniker, Alltrack, as the most expensive one. So it starts in sort of the low 30s, right?
And it's fully loaded though.
Yeah, fully loaded. And the difference is, in Canada versus the US, we get standard 18-inch wheels and leather seats. Where in the States, that's not the case. So the other thing is that I'm really excited about, and you know, Volkswagen, Thomas, you can nod, thinks that about half of the non-Alltracks will be sold with the 4Motion all-wheel drive.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yeah, we get the nod. So, you know, talk about driving this. We're in Seattle, the Seattle area.
Yep.
We took a ferry over to Bainbridge Island, and the roads here, we've had a lot of twisty roads.
Yeah. What are we at?
We are at 2 miles.
2.3, turn right.
Okay, 2.3 turn right. A lot of twisty roads. We took it off road on gravel roads,
yeah.
Which most people, that's all they're going to do with their, you know, their SUV or CUV, and it handled it no problem. But 15 millimeters higher for the ride height, not a whole bunch, but it handles it no problem. But what I was really surprised at, and you noticed as well too, is when you're driving it, you don't really feel like you're going that fast. It's very quiet. It handles very well, but you know, I was driving 70 miles an hour on some roads that they were a lot lower speed limit than that, right? and you didn't notice it.
Well, that's the beauty of having a car versus you know, classic utility, is that you have a lower center of gravity. You've got independent suspension. You've got all the attributes of, you know, the Golf family of cars, but you have all of the utility. And you know what? I've been thinking about this through the day, because initially I was a little surprised the Alltrack is in the 30s, right? But you look at an average utility, right? A CRV, RAV4, Mazda, whatever, and you you get fully equipped model with all-wheel drive. You could be well past the price of this car, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't want to spend the money, you can get it without the cladding, just the Sportwagen.
So a couple things. This one is equipped with a 6-speed DSG dual clutch transmission, which is really cool. And unfortunately, though, you can't get this in manual.
But you know what? This is an upgrade, right? So the traditional Sportwagen, if you could get with a manual, obviously, right? And you still can with the front wheel drive. If you get a front wheel drive automatic, though, it's the Tiptronic. It's the conventional automatic transmission. So this is an upgrade. It's the dual clutch. It's sportier. It's quicker, but very smooth. I found here today. So that is an upgrade as well. But I think that manual will probably come. They've already promised it for the U.S.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a matter of time before Canadians get a manual. But that would be pretty cool in this car. All right, my turn to drive. You think there's anything we can do to get Thomas to laugh or talk?
You can tickle him. Tickle me, Thomas.
There's a joke in there, but I'm not going to touch it.
So what do you think?
I have always loved the latest generation of these new, the Golf family of cars, right? And I think this car just feels so polished and refined, and you really don't notice at all that you're driving sort of an all-wheel drive version of it.
Going to this lane here, it's got better pavement, I think.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. Yeah,
Smoother.
It's smoother.
I gotta say, that's one thing about the United States, is that they have the concrete highways.
Yeah,
oh my God, mile after mile, you're like, it just thunders in your ears. It's so loud.
You know, both of us drove down from the Vancouver area, and 3/4 of that is all that concrete. It's
horrible.
loud.
It's terrible.
But
not that our highways are great, but
well, we mentioned at the beginning, Volkswagen is trying to position themselves, this vehicle, against the Outback from Subaru. What do you think?
Well, it's a natural comparison because if you're looking for a wagon with all-wheel drive, that's really all you've got, right? The Crosstrek has been a huge hit for Subaru, and that's been an entry point for many people into their brand.
Yeah.
And you know what? The reality is, and I say this to people all the time, that is just really an Impreza, right? And really, at the end of the day, this is just a Golf station wagon with the raised ride height
But it works.
You know what? Subaru started this with the Outback in the 90s, remember?
Yep.
And now it seems like everybody, Audi, the sister company to Volkswagen, they do their, A4 wagon with the cladding. Volvo has their cladding on their station wagons. There seems to be some resistance to buying a regular version of the car, but in essence, they're all just station wagons.
Yeah, but it does make sense. I've told a lot of people, if you don't need a big SUV, buy a wagon. It's all-wheel drive wagon, perfect. But there's some interesting stats here. Not stats, but what Volkswagen says. Comparing this to the Outback. Okay. Standard, you get heated seats.
Yeah.
These are just a few things here. Cooled glove box. You get leatherette, power seats for the driver's seat. You get a 9-speaker Fender audio system, and that's opposed to, on the Outback, a 4-speaker system, and then a lot of those other ones that I said that are standard, they're available on the Outback, but as an option.
Right.
But this is one surprising thing. 60-40 split with pass-through on the Alltrack.
So that's like the ski pass-through.
Yes, for
right?
skis or snowboards, things like that. And for the Outback, standard 60-40 split, but there's no pass-through.
I never noticed that before.
I think that's kind of silly. How could they not have a pass-through? Right? That's
know.
a really outdoorsy type of vehicle.
I just want to talk about that Fender Stereo for a second.
Yep.
Because I'm a huge fan. I'm like, my younger days, I was really an audiophile. I was into audio. Now I just listen to the radio like everybody else.
You were a DJ at one time.
I was a disc jockey, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
You have to reference it like that.
Sorry.
Just joking. But you know what? When you get in and out of different cars, you notice the stereos. And you really do notice with the Fender system, their focus was clarity and purity of sound. And it is very noticeable when you drive one of the Volkswagens with the Fender Stereo. It's super clear and crisp. Yeah. And I appreciate that.
Uh-huh.
It's not all about the thumping bass. It's about the clarity of the sound. And I like it.
Very good separation.
Yeah, absolutely. So there is a package on this Alltrack that has the advanced safety features. You know, everybody is expecting it in cars nowadays. And you know what? I just was going through a bunch of different models from all different manufacturers, and all of these advanced safety aids like forward collision warning with autonomous braking,
Adaptive
cruise control, lane keep assist with the steering assist and all that kind of stuff. Almost every single brand has it on their highest level, right?
Yeah.
And this is the same with Volkswagen, and that's where it's going to start. It's going to start on the highest trim levels, and as the years go by, it'll be lower and lower and lower, and eventually all of this stuff will become standard. Who knows how many years, but at least it's available if you want all that stuff. It's not inexpensive. It's 35 grand, right?
35,295.
Right. But that's the fully loaded leather.
Overall, I think that they will move a lot of these units.
Yeah. Well, you know what? What Volkswagen needed was new products to talk about something other than the news they've had over the last year. And now they have new products. So this is one. Next year is going to be their big 3-row SUV, right? It's going to be made in the United States. And then the vehicle we had a chance to drive in Sweden, which is the Tiguan. And it's not the Tiguan sold in Europe, it's the long wheelbase.
The longer wheelbase.
Which is going to also have the availability to have 3 rows of seats if you want it. And we did have a chance to drive it, and I was mightily impressed with that. So that's going to be right in the heart of the SUV. So if you think about it, Volkswagen has gone from being a small car company to now, you know, Alltrack, Tiguan, the new truck. It's not officially named yet, is it? No. And then Touareg.
Maybe we could add in a Scirocco in there too.
Yeah, Scirocco. We want a Scirocco.
Scirocco, Thomas? Yeah.
Well, Subaru Outback.
There's the competition.
It's like one of the original ones.
Yeah.
I tell you what, have you ever owned a wagon?
I have. My very first car was a 1976 Honda Civic station wagon with wood grain.
Nice, down the side?
Yeah, yeah.
It looked like a phone booth on its side.
It was awesome.
I had a 5 Series BMW station wagon.
Okay, that's a little bit more swanky than my Civic was.
Yeah, I know, but you know what? The basis is still there. A station wagon offers a lot. I mean, I love the utility. I love the handling, but I loved all that space. I remember we went to one time to Home Depot when I had all these cement bags, you know, the mix, and they would look like I was crazy putting them in that car, but they could do it, right?
Well, you know, that's the beauty of these wagons now. They don't want to call them station wagons.
They wanted something cooler. That's why they put all this cladding on it. It's like everybody in the business is doing it.
Yeah.
Nobody's, you know, it'll be interesting to see if Volkswagen continues on with the regular sport wagon, because I would almost bet within a few years they'll all be these Alltracks.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's a matter of time. Anyway, that's another edition of
Sweet and Sour. And a big shout out to our friend Thomas Tetzlaff.
So it should be ready? Sweet and sour with a side of sauerkraut.